You are ready, sir, to go to war, to go to a trade war with the United States with the Trump administration.
I'm going after absolutely everything, and I don't want to. We keep the lights on the 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it. It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario, and it's going to be a massive, massive problem. I'm telling you. If they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy, with a smile on my face. So, and I'm encouraging every other province to do the same. Quebec, Manitoba, BC, we all have to act in unison. Out east, they rely on our energy. They need to feel the pain. They want to come at us hard, we're going to come back twice as hard.
This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome everybody to today's show, the tariff war. So many things to pay attention to with the tariff war. Now, I just covered on my other channel, Ones That Can See, I talked about the carbon tariff that is potentially coming between Canada and America, which would force America to implement their own carbon tariff, which would introduce a carbon tax to the United States. And of course, as they do this fake fictional tug of war between governments, which is really just the government punching the civilians in the face, as they do this back and forth, eventually people will get so worn out, but they'll be so conditioned into a carbon tax, because they'll know what it is now, that they'll accept a carbon tax. They'll start seeing it on their receipts and their bills, and suddenly it's a normal thing in our day-to-day life because they could introduce.
Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in his gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. It says, be ready. Major power grid shutdowns are about to start as part of their playing game. I subscribe to this guy by Nations Conspire, and honestly speaking, he's on point when it comes to certain dealings and prophecy, which he's not a prophetic preacher, he's not a preacher or anything like that, but he follows particular he follows particular trends in the world, and he mainly reports on this digital technocracy that's servicing relatively quickly, as a lot of people have been complaining about major banks like Chase and Bank of America and how Esau is just reportedly shutting accounts down without any notice. So, if you have a bank account with these big banks, these big mainstream banks, then, it's possible that your money could be in jeopardy, or your account could be in jeopardy of closing down. And, they gave every excuse in the world. Like Trump made it seem like, well, because they was auditing, because they was discriminating against conservatives and MAGA people. But reality of it is, you go back into 2023 when they rolled out that pilot, what do you call it, that 12-week pilot program of the Fed Now, which I believe is like a algorithm-based app that kind of links the CBDC to your personal account and your personal wallet. Me personally, I believe that has something to do with that. It's quiet as kept, because now you got the tariff wars with China and then Canada, which they're talking about putting, I believe, they're talking about putting like 10 to 20%. I think China maybe 10%, and I believe Canada may have been like 20% in tariffs, which the guy, the head guy in Canada was basically saying, well, look, he do that, then we're going to retaliate because they need us for energy, because Canada supplies America with energy, man. And as you know, we've been in an energy crisis the last fucking 5 years when bills have been skyrocketing. So, hey, it says, be ready. Major power grid shutdowns are about to start as part of their plan. And remember, going back into 2023 at Davos, and even 24, you had the elites of the World Economic Forum that was going into what they call the poly crisis, which we often report on, which poly means many, right? Power outages, which is grid shutdowns, inclement weather, as we just got hit with some crazy weather last night. Like it was spring-like temperatures, and literally in 5 hours we didn't drop damn near 25 to 30 degrees with crazy winds, power outages in the metro area, and a blizzard, just for it to go back up over the weekend and be back spring like next week, you know. But what stood out to me is the power outages, man. You know, and we believe that Esau is moving this new world order. Okay, so like this guy was saying, he said, look, these people are not in any type of opposition with one another. That's just to get the people divided so people can look like they have some type of say so as to what's happening in the world, but really it's to wear the people down. Okay, it's called pressure from above, pressure from beneath. So he said it. He said, look, when they shut down the grid, they're going to be justified putting carbon taxes on people, which you have what they call a carbon footprint. When basically they're tracking your every move, man, from what you do, how you do it, what you think, why you thinking it, you know. And you're going to leave a digital footprint, which is the whole purpose of this new coming world. So we can expect things to play out in a big, big way because, hey, Esau has this, what he called this 2030 plan. Want everything and everybody chipped by 2030. But I'm going to do another video that I saw as they're putting RFID chips in breast implants, man, which is wild, man. Okay. So anyway, yeah, this thing is moving. So I'm going to play a couple minutes of the video. We're going to get a couple of precepts. That'll be that. So here we go.
Now to America, where a year ago you would have said it's impossible for them to bring in a carbon tax. And again, that's on my other channel, Ones That Can See. I highly recommend you go over there now for lots of my new content. But you heard Doug Ford. You heard them talking about war. This is
Mark Wahlberg here with Hallow. Here are my top 3 ways to improve your life. Number 1, wake up early.
war, right? This is war between America and Canada. We're not going to lose, right? He's a character playing a very similar role to Donald Trump, right? You're not going to threaten us. We'll threaten you double, right? This gives you your 2 actors going back and forth. And of course you have Trudeau, and then you have these other guys who are going to merge as the prime minister. And what this is really about is ruining our lives. Let's be real, right? It's about ruining our lives. Now, the government already ruins our lives psychologically enough, don't they? But this gives them more opportunity to do that. And of course, yes, we could all look at the tariffs and we know what that means for a Great Depression. We know what it means for prices at the grocery. Prices on all different goods are going to be through the roof. And it gives them the opportunity to...
Right, because if people understand inflation, not inflation, Salak, if people understand tariffs, they know that tariffs is just nothing more but a tax. And when you're taxing people that don't really need your goods to survive because you've outsourced everything, they can just return a tax upon you, and then the American people will have to pay for it. Okay, like it says, a carbon tax is a tax on greenhouse gas emissions that aims to reduce climate change, which nobody's changing the climate but Esau with his deforestation and his spread of chemicals in the air. You know, his HARP, his cloud seeding program, his weather modification programs. You know, because when I'm looking outside, this ain't natural weather. Okay, you have literally like high power winds with all this snow out here, and it don't seem normal. It doesn't seem natural. Okay, so that's your freaking climate change right there. But it says a carbon tax increases the prices of fossil fuels, making it more expensive for businesses to produce and consumers to buy goods and services that use fossil fuels. So like the man said, hey, you're going to see a carbon tax on your bills. You know, it says this encourages business and consumers to use less fossil fuels and adopt cleaner energy. Okay, so potential drawbacks can increase costs, especially for the low income family. So like we mentioned, this is just nothing more but to put the people in a bind, okay, as if we're not paying high dollar amount for eggs, eggs, milk, bread, just basic necessities, rents, everything is going up. When this guy Donald Trump mentioned that he was going to get prices down on the first day, and then he did this crazy speech talking about the American dream is alive again, which is a freaking lie, man, because like my man said, the only how you're living the American dream is if you sleep. All right. So, and most people here are completely asleep, but they're not living a dream. In fact, it's a nightmare. All right. So anyway, let's get a precept real quick. Romans 13, and I'm going to start at verses 11. And it says, "In that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake up out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than what we believe." Yeah. So now ain't the time to be playing games, man. Like you got Israelites going on a national fast because a guy done went off and committed a grave sin, man. But yet, instead of focusing on that, focusing on prophecy, they're focusing on the minute stuff, man. Because what other camp in Israel outside of Great Millstone is telling you about the coming economic crash, or the coming MOTB systems, or the coming carbon tax? Okay, what camp is pushing World War III and that all hell is getting ready to break loose in concentration camps? Okay, you'll find out that Great Millstone has been the only camp in our affiliates that's really going into the prophetics of the prophecies of the scriptures, man. And that's why it reads, it says, for the night is far spent and the day is at hand. But let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light, man. So we got to be fully aware, fully engulfed in, man. You know, we can't be sidetracked by these minute things, man, which I'm not saying what that happened in Israel was not minute. That was very, very big, because that's part of prophecy. But you got other camps out there that just focusing on the glitz and the glamour of what this thing brings instead of the judgment. Okay, the Lord told us to stand on our watch. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Luke 21, and I'm gonna start at verses 25. And it says, and there should be signs in the suns and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's heart fell in them for fear and for looking after those things which were coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven should be shaken. Okay, but when you go into perplexed, these people are perplexed. Like right now, I'm looking at a video called Trent with Peace. It says the federal mass layouts, they meant to say layoffs, are pushing people to the edge, and people are ranting, which that's a major form of being perplexed. Okay, going to the word perplexed, because everybody is feeling the crunch. Everybody's on edge, man. All right, and prostitution is getting ready to go up on a whole nother level, because it's a lot of women that's getting affected by this. So that market, that prostitution market is getting ready to be oversaturated. So they're gonna have to come down on them prices, because everybody can't be selling shit for this dollar amount when it's so many people to go out there and do it. So they're gonna have to come down on the price of the box, which nobody wants to buy that shit anyway. But still, you get the point. These women are secretly prostituting on the low. But it says the state of one who is in perplexity. All right. Now it says confusion, complexity, yeah, bewilderment, puzzlement, bafflement, incomprehension, lack of comprehension, mystification, because shit is hitting people from all sides. And in back of their mind, they're like, okay, well, it looks good on this front, but why is it messed up over here? You know, why is things looking to appear to be somewhat moving up this way, but this is going down? You know what I'm saying? So people, they don't know what to do. You know, they're losing money. Bank accounts are closing all over the country. Rents are going up. Freaking energy bills are going up. It's to the point they're pricing people out of living. And on top of that, they're burning down some of these cities to build up these 15-minute smart cities. Like I believe they got something called a Toyota smart city that they're building. So Esau is moving, man. And you people that claim to know what's going on, you people don't know what the hell is going on. You too in la la land. You too worried about what's going on TikTok. Too worried about what basketball wise and the Grammys is talking about, man. But it says, then they should see the Son of Man coming in a cloud of power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So yeah, we supposed to be on our watch, watching these things, man, and reporting on these things, not consoling somebody that wants to do grotesque acts to call themselves high priests. It says, and when he spake to them a parable, behold the fig tree and all the trees. And when they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise, when you see all these things come to pass, know that the kingdom of God is at hand. But verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But take heed to yourselves, lest any time your hearts be charged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life. And this is what a lot of Israelites are concerned with, the cares of this life, the image, the money, generational wealth, which, those things are okay in their proper perspective, in their proper order. There's nothing wrong with those things. But right now, man, we got a job to do. Okay, generational wealth is coming in the kingdom. Prosperity is coming in the kingdom. which a lot of you guys, you don't really believe in. And it says, for the cares of this life, so that day come upon you unawares. It says, for as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. So watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that should come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. So this is why we're preaching on the prophecies, man, all right? Because this is the most important thing, is speaking on this shit before it comes to pass, man, because it's finna get bad for everybody. All right, once that grid shuts down for about a week or two, and there's no sign of coming up or some type of EMP or some type of cyber attack, then America's done. Okay, it's done. And once the grids are shut down, that's gonna wipe out all the banks, all your money, all that shit is gonna be lost. Because when they turn everything back on, things are gonna be reset. So let's just say if you had $100,000 in your bank account and we had a grid shut down, and you try to go to the ATM, you ain't gonna be able to get that money out of there. ATMs ain't gonna work. So you're gonna have people busting in ATMs to try to get the money out, you know, breaking in banks to try to crack vaults. And when the power finally comes back on and you get a notification, your bank account has been zero, you know, you got to opt in and go get that chip. A lot of you are going to just lose it. And that's why a lot of people are going to lose it, because even then the famine is coming. All right. So let's listen to a little more, and I'll get one more precept and we'll end it.
Do this and make you sit back and go, well, what am I? Oh, right. What am I? Well, they're doing it. They're in a tariff war. I guess we have to accept this now. I guess we have to ration. And of course, part of all of this rationing and all of this financial downfall is going to be the grid. You heard him. I'll do it with a smile on my face. I'll shut off Americans' electricity with a smile on my face. So uncertainty clouds U.S. power grids in the north, New York, some red states, right? And this is another way, too, that they can start separating red and blue states. Because, of course, when you have liberal politicians in certain provinces in Canada, well, they could say, we're not going to hit that state specifically because that's a red or a blue state, depending on what party they're in, right? And then you start dividing people more and more by state, which is going to be done by design. I'll cover that in a separate video. But let's talk about what could come with the power grid, because that's really what this gives them an opportunity to do, to start shutting off and shutting down electricity. And of course, eventually forcing America to change their whole power grid structure as well and go into green energy with rationed energy. So Ontario Premier Doug Ford said Monday he's prepared to cut off electricity exports to the U.S. if Trump's 25% tariffs on Canadian goods go through. If they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy with a smile on my face, Ford said. Ford doubled down on his pledge to retaliate.
You notice, even with Trump's first term, there was in a fucking trade war, man. That's what this guy's about. Now it's 25% tariffs, you know? It's 25%, so I went off earlier, but 25%. But you ain't, bro, Esau, you ain't in no power to do this. You don't have no type of fighting power behind you to even put threats on other nations, because only thing you're doing is pretty much breaking your partnership with the EU and NATO, which is prophetic. So this has to happen because they're about ready to cut Trump off. You know, he's totally destroying his partnership with NATO and the EU, and they're talking about NATO breaking up. So that's prophetic. But it says the U.S. imposed tariffs of 25% on Canadian goods, except the energy products, which can face a 10% tariff. It says it also put 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and an additional 10% on Chinese goods. But it says, according to figures from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, Canada is by some margin the largest source of American energy imports, with 59% of all crude oil imported into the U.S. Like, that is like a woman that don't have shit to offer nobody. Like, it's like if I'm dealing with a woman, she's nothing. She just bad. She looks good, but she's a whore. She has no skills. She don't know how to cook, clean. She don't know how to do anything. But she's getting her lifestyle totally supported by my what do you call it? By my resources. And this bitch decides to buck up against me. Like, I can't just kick her out when ready. And if I kick her out in the street, she ain't got nothing but her looks. But everybody knows she's a filthy whore. So who's gonna deal with that? And that's pretty much the predicament that Babylon is in now. Like, you playing, bro, you playing with fire, because Canada, I mean, you know, they do depend on each other for certain things and resources, but they don't need you, bro. You know? So this is gonna backfire and hit Esau smack dab in the head, man. You know, which is all through the scriptures, and this is why he's gonna come down with great wrath. But this is the book of Ezekiel 7, and I'm gonna start at verses 10. It says, "Behold the day, behold it has come, and the morning is gone forth, and the rod have blossomed, pride have budded. It says, violence is risen up unto the rod of wickedness, and none of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor any of theirs, neither shall there be dwelling for them. But the time is come that the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for the wrath is upon the whole multitude thereof." So everybody's going to be affected by this, man. All because Trump wants to sit up here and be this big bad wolf, talking about, oh, they've been taking advantage of America for 40 years. No, Americans been taking advantage of other people for decades, man. All right. And it says, "For the seller should not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive." So all you people in real estate, you know, all you people that's into the business market and stuff like that, yeah, you may make a good penny, but eventually, you know, it's not going to be to no avail. And it says, "For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which should not return, neither should any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. But they have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go into the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof," man. All right, so I'm going to just end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will you were edified. If you want this video, I can link it in the description, but this is called Nations Conspire. Very good shows on here. Hey, if brothers need lessons for videos, hey, this is a channel I recommend getting your information from, and cross references, of course. All right. So with that, Shalom. May Yahweh Shai be with you brothers, your few sisters out there. Barakatham. Shalom.